This is a third part of our discussion on how to merge a database table with an Autonumber primary key used by foreign keys. In the first part, we've got familiar with KSDB merge tools and its Id-Remap merge feature that can be used to solve this task. In the second part, we took a look at more complex examples of using this feature. And now let's talk a bit more about Id-Remap merge. No new examples, just some notes regarding mapping tables approach and limitations of suggested solution. I would recommend watching the first two parts if you haven't done this yet. Let's talk a bit about some benefits of the suggested solution and mapping tables. At first, this solution is producing a script that does not rely on any concrete ID values. As a result, the same script can be used for different environments. For example, we could apply this script to a QA or production copy database, verify that it does what we need, and then run the same script on the real production environment. Next, as we saw in part 2, the merge can be divided into steps. For example, we can make script number 1 for the reference data, like lookup tables. Then we could make a script number 2 for the operational data and apply it using mapping tables from the script number 1. Mapping tables can also be used for a number of other tasks. At first, to identify that some row is a result of our merge. For example, after merge, we can observe some bugs, see that some entities have some strange behavior, or missing some details. We can use mapping tables to identify that the issue is related only to our merge result and nothing else. Next, after merge, we may have a need to compare original source rows with their copies in the target database. For example, to identify any changes that could happen in the source after completion of merge. This can be done using mapping tables. Mapping tables can also be used to roll back merge results without need to make the full restore of the database backup. This can be useful if the database is actively used, and with restore, we may lose some data which is not related to our merge at all. Now, let's talk about limitations of Id-Remap merge. At first, it works only for single-column Autonumber primary keys used as a single-column foreign key. If we use Autonumber primary keys, then it is the most popular database design model. But in some cases, such a database may have some exclusions from that rule. Some tables may have hard-coded IDs which are not autonumbers. It should not be a big issue, because if it was hard-coded somehow in the source, then probably we can decide how to hard-code it in the target. Next, some child tables may reference an unique constraint in the parent table instead of primary key. Or, in some database management systems, the Autonumber column and the primary key column can be not the same. Both of these cases are not a best practice, but sometimes that happens. And, for the next limitation, let's take another example based on our database model. Table order log to order item has foreign keys to Autonumber primary keys, and as we saw, these foreign key values were updated properly with Id-Remap merge. Now let's imagine that the composite primary key of order log to order item is used as a foreign key for some other table. Values of such composite keys are based on autonumbers. But since it is not a single-column primary and foreign keys, the current implementation of Id-Remap merge will not work for this properly. This table just will not be shown in Id-Remap configuration, and no insert statements will be generated for it. But, if you're performing a one-time data migration, there is a simple workaround. You can create additional temporary single-column foreign keys, use it for Id-Remap, and then drop them after merge completion. Let's get back to the list of limitations. The next limitation is that Id-Remap merge cannot be applied for tables without dependency level. Dependency level is missing for tables participating in cycled foreign key references. Let's imagine that table user has foreign key photo ID, and table photo has foreign key author user ID referencing the user. We've got a foreign key cycle. If we try to do Id-Remap merge with such a data, we can get something similar to deadlock. If we insert user row, it may reference to photo ID which is not inserted yet, and if we try to fix this by inserting that photo ID first, then it also may fail because its author user ID is not inserted yet. Such a logical cycle needs to be broken somehow. we need to either disable foreign keys during merge or to perform initial merge without these IDs, at least for one of these tables, and then perform update when all IDs are in place. And one more limitation is that if we merge multiple tables at once, then they must have the same dependency level. Part 2 of this video explains why this limitation was made. If you are faced with any of these limitations or something else does not work for you, feel free to contact our support. We will try to help you. And now just a few words about future plans. All the things described here are just an initial implementation of Id-Remap merge. As we can see, it has some limitations, but it can be very useful for many typical use cases, and we are not going to stop on it. We have a lot of plans on how it can be made better. You probably noticed in our demos that some dialogues have too many words explaining what happens, and that's probably not needed for someone who already understands how it works. So, one of our tasks is to simplify Id-Remap merge UI. The next task is to overcome some limitations that we have discussed. Also, during our tests, we have noticed that it would be good to have more configuration for some steps of Id-Remap merge. And the last for today, KSDB merge tools is not young, but it is still actively evolving. We have other growing features like diff profiles or command line scripting. And it may happen that in the future, Id-Remap merge will be integrated with some of these features in order to provide you more automation, less unnecessary steps, and better user experience. Thanks for watching.